YouTube. Hey, welcome to another episode of Current Christian Commentary and News with your host, Pastor Steve. I am, of course, Pastor Steve. Today is Wednesday, April 6th. Last night, Ted Cruz, as predicted, won the Wisconsin Republican primary. He actually won in a landslide. Yesterday, I told you that the polls had him ahead about 5 points. He won by, looked to me like anywhere from 9 to 12, depending on who you talk about. But yes, Ted Cruz beating Donald Trump. I know there are many of you that are diehard Trump fans, and I get the anger and I get the frustration. And quite frankly, if Donald Trump wins, of course I'm going to support him for president over that lying, narcissistic piece of human garbage called Hillary Clinton. Ooh, you're a pastor. You shouldn't talk like that. Well, you know, if the shoe fits. And one of the jobs of a pastor is to tell the truth, and that's exactly what I'm going to do here on this channel, while I can. It's one of the reasons why I do this show every weekday from Monday until Friday, and I do hope you'll subscribe and tell your friends about it. But it's one of the reasons why I do this show is because they are they are encroaching on our rights, which are given to us by God every day. This administration is closing in on the First Amendment, the right to free speech, and soon people like me will not be allowed, or will be arrested, or will be punished. We're going to talk a little bit about that today for the things they say or do. We all know about the Second Amendment and how they're trying to take that away. And if you own a gun, I strongly suggest that when the time comes that you do not surrender your weapon to the authorities. Ooh, now you're inciting rioting. No, I'm not. I'm telling you, our rights are given to us by God, and only God can take them away. Man can try, but only God can do that. Our Fourth Amendment right. We'll talk a little bit about that as well. Another reason why I do this show for you every Monday through Friday. I hope you'll subscribe. I hope you'll leave some comments and tell your friends about this. Current Christian Commentary and News. I am your host, Pastor Steve. One last story before we go today, and this all dovetails into each other. Again, I believe this is the AP reporting. Let's see, reproductions of the arches that stood in front of the Temple of Baal. Isn't that special? In Palmyra, Syria, are going to be erected in Times Square and in Trafalgar Square. That would coincide with an occult festival related to the worship of a demon named Baal. And Baal actually wasn't a demon, he was actually a false god, but neither here nor there. Writing in the Charisma News, Snyder, a guy by the name of Snyder, wonders whether the arches to be installed would be a giant welcome sign for the Antichrist. He goes on to say his fears are based on these facts, and then he correlates, and at my church we love to connect the dots. But he correlates dates in April. On April 19th, it's the first day of a 13-day period of time known as the blood sacrifice to the beast that culminates on the high occult holy day of Beltane on May 1st, he said. April 19th is also the date of the feast of Moloch, and if you know anything about Moloch, Moloch was a false god who literally they sacrificed babies on. Hello, see any coincidence or connect any dots there? And Moloch, an ancient Canaanite god that is repeatedly vilified in the Old Testament. Snyder also notes a series of horrific events that occurred on April 19th. He goes on to say that on April 19th, 1993, the Waco mass FBI assault led to the burning down of the compound of a sect named Branch Davidians, killing 76 men, women, and children. I know that many of you remember that. I will never forget the Attorney General. Now, most of us watched this standoff live on TV. These Branch Davidians, yes, they were a cult. No, they were not real Christians. But this is supposed to be a free country. In other words, you should be able to worship any god that you feel like. They weren't hurting anybody. They were all there of their free will. Although the government tried to, fly a story that they weren't. They were, and the government burned rather than wait. There was no hurry. Rather than wait, they ended up raiding the place. A shootout took place. I know an ATF officer was either shot or killed, and I get all that. I understand, but there was no need to rush in and burn this house down and kill all those children. Yet that's exactly what Janet Reno and the FBI did under Bill Clinton. I'll never forget. Now, I was a cop. I know a little bit about tear gas. With that delivery system, they literally used a tank to crash into the wall and pump tear gas into the house. That was the theory. But what they forgot was the end of that nozzle where that tear gas is coming out gets red hot. That's how the house caught on fire. We all saw it on TV, yet Janet Reno that night or the following day, the Attorney General of the United States at that time, she denied it. They were like, why did you set the house on fire? Why? You should have known. She's like, we didn't set the Branch Davidians set the house on fire. And of course, forensics afterwards proved that it was in fact the tear gas delivery system that set the house on fire. But I will never forget Janet Reno looking into the camera and saying, what are you going to believe? What you saw or what we told you you saw? And that was the tip for me, folks. At that point, I knew that our government, even as much as I thought, as ill as I thought of Bill Clinton and all his shenanigans and his lying and his licking his finger, you know, to run his presidency by the polls, as much as I detested him as president, that's when I lost all respect for the office of the presidency. What are you going to believe? What you saw? What you actually saw, or what we're telling you you actually saw? And, you know, we can go into Ruby Ridge and all those, but we don't have time for that. Also, on April 19, 1995 was the Oklahoma City bombing. 168 people were killed. April 20th, 1999, the Colomine High School massacre. 13 people murdered, 21 injured. April 16th, Virginia Tech massacre. 32 people killed, 17 injured. April 16th, 2013, Boston Marathon. 3 killed, 107 injured. 3 days later, April 19th, the brother of the suspected terrorist was shot and killed. Snyder goes on to say, the worship of Baal can be traced all the way back to an ancient king of Babylon. That is known in Sumerian sources as Enmerkar, but that is known in the Bible as Nimrod. Nimrod established the very first New World Order in the ancient world, and he changed the course of human history. Many Christian scholars believe that there is a connection between Nimrod and the coming Antichrist. They are going to reconstruct or duplicate these arches that were dedicated to Baal, which were found in Syria, and they're going to put one in New York and one in England somewhere. I forget the name. What's it called? Trafalgar Square. Isn't this special, folks? I'm telling you, just as Isaiah predicted, evil is rising all over the world, and very shortly, well, we're practically already there, they're going to call good evil and evil good, and it's happening. Another reason why I'm doing these shows, because, again, we have very little time left. Snyder wonders, is it just a coincidence that we are erecting arches to this ancient deity? Let me show you a picture of these arches, if I can, real quick. The author notes that mankind has entered a period of time known in the Bible as the last days. That's one of the reasons why my theme music is It's the End of the World as We Know It by R.E.M., but I feel fine. Listen to me. None of this is taking God by surprise. All of this evil I'm reporting on Monday through Friday, none of it takes God by surprise. He's still in control. He still offers a way of salvation for mankind, the light of the world, Jesus Christ, that whosoever believes in him shall be saved. Folks, I don't know. I hope my pre-trib rapture friends are correct. I was a pre-trib, diehard pre-trib believer Christian for a long time. For those of you that don't know what it means, it just simply means that Christ's return before the Great Tribulation. And of course, you know, guys like John Hagee and Tim LaHaye have been teaching this for a long time. I actually worked for Tim LaHaye part-time for 24 years. You can go to my website and you can see pictures there. I was his bodyguard part-time, but I was his bodyguard for 24 years. Actually, it was his wife's bodyguard. But I'm actually in the Left Behind series. The bodyguard, unfortunately, to the Antichrist is modeled after me. And Dr. LaHaye told me that himself. Yeah, I was the inspiration for Nikolai's bodyguard because I was a bodyguard. You can go again to my website, steveaiken.com, and you can check out some of the photos, some of the cool photos back in the day. I was a bodyguard before bodyguards were cool. So why am I doing all this? I'm doing all this because I can. Because folks need to wake up. As one commentator likes to say, we are the resistance. And folks, if we don't start spreading the light and sharing the light of the gospel of Jesus Christ, evil, as the Bible predicts, will take over. It's going to get worse and worse. One of the reasons why I'm going to be here as long as they let me. I just hope that you'll subscribe to this channel and you'll send this video off to your friends. You have a great day. We'll catch you again tomorrow. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.